The human attention span has been shrinking for years, and it is actually scientifically proven that it is now smaller than that of the average goldfish.
That guy has a great video, but that 8-second attention thing is actually kind of bullshit. It turns out that the 8-second attention myth actually came about from an old blog that was posted by Microsoft's advertising department in 2008, where they said they did a study on 2,000 people. But it turned out that Microsoft didn't actually find an 8-second attention span in their study. Instead, they cited a website called Statistic Brain, which sounds pretty legit on the surface. But then it turned out that Statistic Brain didn't find that either. They actually cited 2 other academic sources. But then when the BBC reached out to those 2 sources, both of those sources were like, we've got nothing in our records on that. Basically, they were like, we've got no idea what you're talking about. Now, if the average attention span isn't 8 seconds, then what is it? Well, the answer to this, like most things in behavioral science, is it depends. The lower bound on our attention span for something we find boring is of course going to be as low as 1 second or less. But we all know that we technically can focus on things for hours, if it's something we find interesting. A survey on over 2,000 people actually found that almost 75% of people, and nearly 90% of millennials and Zoomers, have binge-watched video content. They also found that 40% of millennials and Zoomers actually binge-watch content weekly. So what you and I do know is that our attention span varies. There isn't much or really any evidence for an 8-second attention span, but if we find something interesting, we can of course focus for as long as hours.